This video is brought to you by Skillshare.
Answer my questions.
You're not gonna believe me if I told you.
Try me. Hey, put that door back. Put that door back up. Wait!
Man, this new Shovel Knight DLC is off the chain. When I reviewed Resident Evil 3 Remake, I said this.
Capcom has been on an incredible run this past few years with Monster Hunter World and Devil May Cry 5 and Resident Evil 2 Remake and Monster Hunter Iceborne.
And then someone in the comment section said something along the lines of this.
People still pretending that Capcom's rebirth didn't begin with Resident Evil 7, okay?
I have to admit, it stopped me in my tracks. Why wasn't I giving Resident Evil 7 the credit it was due? Oh, that's right, I hadn't actually played it. And since there isn't much else to play right now, I figured I'd get it done, and while I was at it, I may as well play all the DLC as well. So that's exactly what I did. And can I just begin by saying, this is a fucking good game.
From the dusty mesa.
Resident Evil 7 stars Ethan, a man who seems pretty relaxed about the fact that he's just received an email from his wife who's been missing for 3 years.
All I can say is that if you get this, stay away.
Set in a creepy mansion in the Louisiana Bayou, the setting for the game harkens back to the roots of the series and lays the perfect groundwork for the fresh reimagining that Resident Evil 7 turns out to be.
Dude, this is a Wendy's restaurant.
We take the VIP entrance and eventually make our way into the guest house, which is where we get to sample the Wendy's menu before shit gets real with the discovery of a flashback VHS tape.
Boo. Where did you find this guy? Give me a break, Pete. Hey, I only work with professionals.
This is the first of many of these flashback sequences, and they're all pretty well done, but never as well done as this one. The others are just flashbacks where the person seems to have been wearing a dash cam on their forehead just in case they found themselves in trouble, but this one is literally a dude holding a camera watching shit go down. It's got this real Blair Witch vibe that just hooks you, especially in this moment.
Although, this would make a great backdrop. Andre, what do you think? Andre? Andre! Andre!
Eventually you'll meet up with your wife, only she seems a little bit different than you remember. Resident Evil has always been about getting up close and personal with zombies, but Resident Evil 7 takes things to a whole other level with its violence, its blood, its gore, and how personal it all is. The game introduces more generic undead later, but their impact pales in comparison to your actual wife coming at you with a chainsaw and taking your southpaw as a victory trophy. Yes, this is the thing that actually happens in the first 30 minutes of the game. I'm not making this up. The character focus is a central vein running through all parts of Resident Evil 7. The game introduces you to a cast of characters pulled straight from the Tiger King. Only the people in the game are way more likable than anyone on that show. Except this guy. Fuck this guy.
It's hard to believe that just 4 short hours ago, my wife had to awaken me from a booze and pills-induced haze to remind me that I thought it was an awesome idea to host a live nerd thing.
The game sends you through each major wing of the house, and within each wing you'll face off against someone from this dinner table. There's nothing faceless about this journey. It's personal, it's intimate, it's family, and like most families, it's pretty fucked up.
What is it with this family and cutting off hands?
The house you'll be exploring is a sprawling mess of twists and turns and hidden passages and indecipherable mysteries, but the game does its best to help you out when it can.
Wow, thanks man, really helpful.
Oh, and you also magically get your hand back, so thanks Capcom. The opening chapter of this game is one of the best because it reminds us that Resident Evil games used to be scary. The first person perspective is so claustrophobic that you're constantly just turning around to check behind you because you can't shake the feeling that someone's following you. Well, actually, in the beginning, they kind of are.
Found you!
With its distressed wood, the disgusting mess everywhere, the darkness, the isolation, Resident Evil 7's opening act feels like you've just stepped into Silence of the Lambs, the video game.
rubs the lotion on its skin.
Real talk though, Resident Evil 7's level design and aesthetic are some of the best the series has ever seen. From guest house to main house to basement to exterior to old house to crazy house and onward, every inch of it looks and feels so authentic. There's this Americana vibe to it without ever really relying on kitsch, like the bayou and the trailer and the picture frames and the gun racks all sell this Louisiana setting without trying too hard, and the grotesqueness of the finishing never let you forget this is, after all, a haunted house.
Okay. Hey there. Wait, did you turn that on?
The puzzles are, well, excellent, really. After playing through Resident Evil 3, I kind of forgot that this series had puzzles, but Resident Evil 7 delivers here. It's always built on the foundation of finding a thing, combining it with another thing, and then using it somewhere, but there's enough twists on that basic formula that it all holds together pretty well. As tense and horrific as Resident Evil 7 is, it also has no difficulty in completely switching gears. A boss battle where you do doughies in your garage to wear down The Walking Dead is A, very Australian, and B, very awesome. There's even a sequence where you sword fight with chainsaws in a scene that really makes me wish they brought the GameCube controller to PC. Even the basic Venom-inspired zombies are well done. One of the things that pissed me off about the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes was how unpredictable the zombies were. Some of their heads would pop like grapefruits under a bus tire with only 1 or 2 shots, while others would soak them up like you were shooting cotton balls at sandbags. And even then they'd get back up over and over again. Here the zombies go down after 3 headshots and they stay down for the count. While resources are limited in Resident Evil 7, they're never so stingy that you feel like running past everything is the best option. This gives you the confidence to take down foes, spending time exploring the newly cleared spaces.
Okay, I'll just close this up.
My favorite part of the game was the Saw-inspired safe room sequence. You get a dry run of it first with one of the flashback videos, and after that it's up to you to do it again, only this time cheat so you can survive. It's clever, it's thematically perfect, and it's so satisfying beating Discount Jigsaw at his own game. He ends up getting his revenge though, but we'll come back to that later.
Why would you eat that?
Historically, Resident Evil games were famous for their cheesy plots and bad voice acting.
This house is dangerous. There are terrible demons. Ouch!
Resident Evil 7's voice actors do a surprisingly good job, with the exception of Ethan, who sounds like he just did a blind read audition at local community theatre.
Did anyone see you? Did he see you?
Hey, who else is here? What the hell's going on?
Daddy's coming. We need to go.
Daddy?
The rest of the cast all teeter back and forth masterfully between wholesome southern drawl and maniacal cackling. There's also Zoe, who's your woman on the inside, helping you through this whole mess.
Oh, and that thing on your wrist is a codex. Don't lose it. It's important.
Resident Evil stories have never been sophisticated, but even at their worst, they've always drawn me in with their stone-cold seriousness. Resident Evil 7 is the same, only this time the story is genuinely good. There's a story here about what's happened to your wife, and the family that takes you captive, and the girl you keep seeing in your visions, and the voice over the phone helping you out, and the inevitable link to the nefarious Umbrella Corporation. As far as Resident Evil stories go, this absolutely is one of the better ones. So that's it then. Resident Evil 7 is good, case closed, thank you, bye-bye. Wait, what? There's DLC? Surely this is just a lame cash-in designed to sell season passes, right? Surely this can't actually be good. Wrong. This DLC is seriously good shit to the point where I'd say that if you own Resident Evil 7 and you haven't played it yet, you should reinstall it and check it out. Let's go through it now. First up is banned footage. This is 4 small experiences with a mix of both action and story. Nightmare is a cute little horde mode where you have to craft traps and weapons and ammo and all sorts of stuff to survive until dawn. Spoiler, I didn't survive until dawn. I died. Bedroom is where the party really gets started.
But you gotta eat all of it.
Wow, this looks delicious. Really, it looks great.
Marguerite has trapped you in the bedroom and she's trying to force feed you more Wendy's. You have to try and escape, but you can also eat the Wendy's should you choose. This is essentially an escape room puzzle, but the twist is that Marguerite will come back into the room whenever you make enough noise, so you have to put the room back as you found it, otherwise...
That drawer didn't open itself! This is what you get!
No! I'll be good! I'll be good!
This was some seriously good shit, but it had nothing on the next game mode, 21.
It's a... draw! Draw? I guess you both lose. Why? Why, you fuck?
Travis has you and a random hobo playing blackjack until one of you is bust, and if you win, you get a bonus round. And if you win again, you get another bonus round.
Fuck! Just wait a second! No. Bye-bye, Clancy.
This is pretty messed up, and I'm totally here for it. The final piece of the banned footage package is called Daughters, and it's the best part because it's essentially a prequel chapter showing you how the Baker house fell to ruin.
Look at all the pretties my little girl is giving me! Kiss me, lover!
What's good about this is that it provides some really important backstory that will make you appreciate the rest of the game even more. It even has multiple endings based on the decisions you make throughout it. It really only takes about 45 minutes to fumble your way through it the first time, but it's some of the best content in the entire game. You know what isn't some of the best content in the entire game? The redesigned Chris Redfield.
My name is Jeff.
It looks like his face was made with one of those Facebook filters that just combined a million photos together. Plus, they made him look way less chonk. No thanks. Anyway, he headlines the first major expansion for the game titled Not a Hero. Very humble, my man. Good job. Not a Hero is decidedly more action-y than the main game, and you can tell that from the classy HUD you've got going on here. This is a very good expansion. You'll revisit the salt mines, take down Lucas once and for all. His craftiness works, and pretty soon, Chris finds himself with a bomb strapped to his arm. Not that he seems to mind very much about that.
You should head back and get that bomb on your arm deactivated.
There's no time. I don't want to give that asshole a head start.
What a fucking badass.
After his escape room and blackjack shenanigans, Lucas has captured a bunch of Chris's buddies and he's using them as bait to lead him by the nose into uncomfortable situations.
Everything's all right now.
That's just what he wants you to think. I'm just the bait, and you fell for it.
Really could have used that information a bit earlier, mate.
There are essentially 3 wings to explore within the mines, and they each require certain upgrades like night vision or air filters or a special ammunition designed to counter new zombie types. There's a lot of new mechanics on display here, so Capcom really went all out for what is essentially a 1.5-hour adventure. Not a Hero provides crucial background to how the whole mess at the Baker house got started, and it also fills out crucial blanks about Umbrella Corp and why Chris is now working for them. It's great action, it's pretty great puzzles, it's great level design, and overall I loved it. But I didn't love it anywhere near as much as I loved End of Zoe. End of Zoe tells the story of Joe Baker, a totally not meth-addicted hillbilly with a serious case of old man strength. This guy is clearly a libertarian since he punches G-Men first and asks rhetorical questions about government conspiracies in his journal later. End of Zoe is the story of Joe's efforts to save his niece, Zoe, from her fate as a Disney princess. It essentially asks, what if a Titan main played Resident Evil? Joe is so alpha that he literally casts aside the weapons of the 2 soldiers he captured in favor of using his bare fists and spears he fashions from scrap metal and tree branches. This man needs his own reality TV show ASAP. But don't assume that Joe is all brawn and no brain. Oh no, he has a mean stealth game as well. In his best moments, Joe is also a real thinking man.
Okay, you'll be safe here.
What? Dude, there's an alligator, like, right there. Are you serious?
Separate from the memes, this is actually good content. There's a recurring boss that pops up who also prefers fisticuffs to face sucking. The whole thing feels like some big cathartic release after so many hours spent conserving ammo and cowering in fear. Just walk straight up to a zombie and pop its head like a piñata, that's it. Feels awesome, and since the whole expansion only goes for like just over an hour, it never really gets old. Overall, I'd rate it...
not bad.
There's two more smaller DLCs after that. There's Jack's 55th birthday, where Dad is hungry for his birthday num nums, so you have to run around the house collecting everything that isn't nailed down and feed it to him. It's objectively the best game mode because all the zombies wear cool party hats. The last one is Ethan Must Die. It's an ultra high difficulty game mode where pretty much everything one-shots you. Here's my best attempt. Nope. Seriously, I watched someone play through this on YouTube and just watching it was like the most stressful 22 minutes of my life. There's no way I'm gonna do this. And that's Resident Evil 7. I mean, we joked around a whole bunch in this video, but let me finish on a serious note. This is a fucking great title. Like, wow, I really, really loved this. Resident Evil 2 Remake felt like the best way to revitalize a formula that we already knew and loved, but it was going for a sort of M-rated Hollywood blockbuster style of horror. Resident Evil 7 feels like real, gritty, creepy, disgusting horror, like indie art house horror, like Blair Witch when it was cool horror, like Saw before it sold out horror, like just great scary horror that'll give you nightmares while also being an actual Resident Evil game that still feels linked with the rest of the series. The fact that the DLC for this game is this good makes it a must purchase. If you're an idiot like I was and you haven't played this game yet, do yourself a favor and un-idiot yourself by grabbing it and playing it, and grab the season pass as well. It's like 15 hours of total gameplay between the main game and the season pass, and it's pretty much all goodness, and you get to play as Joe. God bless Joe. I love Joe. I want to be Joe. If you're finding yourself with a little bit of free time on your hands these days, you may want to check out Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes for creative and curious people on topics including illustration, design, photography, video, freelancing, and more. On Skillshare, millions of members come together to find inspiration and take the next step in their creative journey. This isn't just about looking up how to use your new camera, this is about saying, I want to become a photographer. Skillshare's online learning courses are put together by experts in their fields, and taking part in these courses allows you to connect directly with those creators and with other students. You get to build a community around the thing that you're passionate about, supercharging your ambition and creativity. I got started on a platform very similar to this, and 4 or 5 years later, here I am now on YouTube doing my thing. I really recommend this stuff to you. To get started, click the link in the description below, and as an added bonus, the first 1,000 people who click the link get 2 months of Skillshare Premium free. Thanks Skillshare for sponsoring the video, and thank you for watching it. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down so I know to do better for next time. If you enjoyed yourself, consider subscribing, and if you really enjoyed yourself, maybe consider hitting that notification bell so you never miss a video. You can see my patrons here on the left. They're awesome. They're amazing. If you want to join them, check out my Patreon page. Thank you again. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.